Okay, so this handout is here to kind of help you to figure out your colors. And so I would also suggest that when you're working on this handout that you get out your photo. Now this is not the photo I used for my actual drawing, but it matches with this one's. So I'm going to show you how to use tracing paper too. So I still have it out. And so what you're going to do is kind of go through this step by step, right? So the first thing it says is, what color do you want to use? And so when you're trying to decide what colors to use, there's a couple of things that you can do, okay? I know that for many of us, this is the last art class we're ever going to take. I know that. So I'm okay if you pick a color that you absolutely love. I'm totally fine with that. But if you're like, oh, I know I want to take more art classes, maybe we want to think about how color can get across the emotion of the photo, okay? So in my photo, I was looking for being determined, right? And so I might want to think about a color that maybe is very strong, okay? Remember the handout that we had yesterday? There was that color wheel of emotions. I actually have a printout of it right here on the board. I'll actually put it up a little higher. If you want to look at that color wheel of emotions up close, you can look at it and go, okay, red is a very strong color. So maybe I want to use red as my base color. And you can use more than one color on this worksheet and try different options. You're not stuck with the only one that you choose, okay? But what I would like you to do is to try to fill this out. So what I'm going to do is say, this is mine. You can choose a different color. Red. And then why do you want to use this color? I am going to say it, it portrays strength, right? It portrays strength, and that's what I want to use red, okay? So I'm going to show you how to use the color wheel, okay? Everyone look up at the screen, please, right? So this side of the color wheel, right? This side of the color wheel is just about color mixing. So what colors mix to make other colors? How do you make a color lighter? How do you make a color darker? We did that on the worksheet yesterday. I'm going to flip it over to this side. So you guys grab out your color wheels, flip them over. Okay? So for this step 2, I'm going to run my colors through the color scheme. Now you need to do at least the first 3. And if you don't like the first 3, you can try the challenge ones. Those are optional, okay? So you have to do at least 3, 4, and 5. I'll show you how to do all of them, okay? So the first option is monochromatic, okay? Monochromatic. So I would use red, right? And then to make it lighter, I would add what? White. In the set, there is also a pink, so I can use my pink too, because pink is a tint of red. And then to make the red darker, I could use what? I could use black to make it darker, okay? So in the little color swatches, you could do this. You could say, okay, so I'm going to put in pink here. You don't have to put in pink because you're not maybe using red, okay? But what I'm going to do is put in a kind of a representation of this so that I can see it. Now, if you want to use black, this is the kind of the key here. Make sure that you don't use too much black. It goes dark really, really fast, okay? And so when I look at this, this would be like maybe the colors I use. I can make the pink get lighter. Add a little swatch here too. I can make the pink get even lighter by adding white to it. Okay? But I would only use, if I chose monochromatic, I would only choose pinks, red, and dark red for the entire portrait. Okay? So that would be if I chose monochromatic. Okay? The next one is complementary. Complementary colors are what kind of colors? They are opposites, right? Opposites. So what's the opposite of red? If you look at the wheel, right? Look at the wheel. Can you guys see how there's these arrows right here and it says complementary? Point the arrow. There's a little triangle here. Can you guys look up? Can you see how there's this little thing here? It says pure color. There's a little arrow. Point it at your color. So for me, it's pointing at red. And what's the opposite? Look in the center. What's the opposite of red? Green. So what I'm going to do for the entire color scheme is only use red and green. Now notice those colors are pretty dark. So I can lighten and darken them to get the value from the portrait. Okay? If I choose that one, I would do it on the back side though. Okay? The other one that we have that's kind of the basic one is analogous. Analogous are next to each other on color wheel. They share a common hue. So this one is the weird one on this wheel. It's not in the center here. There's nothing marking it in the center. It's these open windows. You guys see the open windows? I can go red, red, orange, orange. I could even go like all the way to yellow here if I really wanted to, right? Or I can go the opposite direction to red, red, violet, violet, and blue, violet. And I have to decide which of those color schemes maybe has the most strength, okay? So for me, I'm going to go red, and maybe I'll go orange or red orange, right? Red, red orange or orange, and maybe yellow orange, right? Or maybe I want to go even lighter, or I want more in between. And I would even let you, if you want to go a little bit lighter, add yellow. Just like we did with that sphere. Can you guys see how they're next to each other on the color wheel? So for the entire portrait, I would use that. Okay? So if you're happy with that, you can stop. If you're like, I'm not happy yet, maybe you want to try the more advanced ones. Okay? Split complementary, right? Split complementary. Point it at red. And can you see how there is a isosceles triangle here? It says split complementary. You guys see that? Right? So it says red. And then what other colors are the split complement? What's next to green on the color wheel? What is it? You guys help me out. Use the wheel to figure it out. Isosceles triangle. Can we find it? It's the skinny triangle. What's the corner pointing at? What's this color? Yellow, green, and blue, green. Now, there's no blue, green in your set, but I bought some extra colors. Right? That's a split complement. Can you guys see it on the screen? Right? So I would use those three colors. I can lighten them, I can darken them to make the range of value on my picture. Okay? Triadic is the equilateral triangle. I point that at red. And what other colors line up with red on the color wheel? This corner is pointing at blue. And the other corner is pointing at yellow. So it's my primary colors. That's a really strong color scheme. That might work really well for mine, right? And then the other one is the tetradic, and that's two pairs of opposites. So we already know the opposite of red is green. Okay? And then I can pick, right? I can say, it doesn't really matter what pairs of opposites. I could do this triangle here that's red and green, or excuse me, the rectangle, blue, violet, and yellow, orange. I could pick the other one that says red and green, violet and yellow. I'll go violet and yellow. It would just be two pairs of opposites. Okay? And once you see all of this, if you love one of them, pick it. Right? If you love one of them, pick it. I think I'm going to try, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try triadic. So I'm going to do a challenge. You don't have to do the challenge. You could pick one of the ones at the top, 3, 4, or 5 instead, right? And then what I would do is flip it over, and this is where you really want to look at your photo, okay? When I look at my skin tone, is my skin light or dark on the photo? It's pretty light. So in my color scheme, what is my lightest color? Yellow, blue, or red? Yellow. I probably want to use yellow for my skin tone. So maybe I'll just do a little swatch of that here, okay? Do I want my eyes to be yellow, or do I want to see them? I want to see them. So I can either use blue or red. I'll go normal. I'll go blue because no one wants red rat eyes, right? Okay. My mouth, okay. For the mouth, you could use skin color, or you could pick another color in your color scheme, okay? Now, if you don't want to look like you're wearing lipstick, don't change the color. If you're okay with it looking like you're wearing lipstick, you can change the color. I don't care. I can wear lipstick. Maybe I'm going to go red, okay? If you don't want lipstick, go darker yellow, okay? Hair. My hair is pretty dark. Which is a dark color, blue or red? Both of them are dark, right? So if I wanted to, I could go darker. Let's say I'll go back to red. And if I want that red to get darker, I can obviously add some black to it, right, to make it darker. Okay. Now, I have a little bit of clothing in my picture. So I can decide to either go to yellow, blue, or red. Maybe I want to do both. Maybe I want to go pink for the t-shirt because it's a light shirt. Maybe I want to go like dark blue for the cardigan. Looks like I'm wearing the same one today. And then background, maybe I want to go back to the blue because that blue is the color of my eyes. So remember, I'm recycling the color. I'm using the colors I see. Okay. Now, I'm not going to waste your time on this one to go through all of this, but I want you to remember that we are not just coloring it in flat. We're putting in value, just like we did on the spheres. So I have highlight, mid-tone, shadow for my skin. I have highlight, mid-tone, shadow for my mouth. I have a highlight, mid-tone, shadow for my hair. That helps you see how light, how dark you need to go. Okay, so this might help you pick those colors out, okay? Another thing that might help you pick your colors out is that you're like, I don't know what to do. You could always put a little bit of tracing paper on top of your photo. You guys see that? And I can experiment with the colors and see what they would look like on top of the photo. Don't draw directly on your photo. You need that as your reference, okay? But I can use tracing paper. It lives up here. And I can help you with that, okay? So that was a lot. I know it was a lot. I am just recording this,